Garment archaeology is something that I have coined when I have been in the process of looking underneath, inside the seams of vintage garments and discovering the tales that they tell. It's like digging and unearthing inside a garment to find out the history and its past life, because when garments get to a certain age, they generally have had many different lives and you can always sort of tell what's going on. And one of my favorite things is to actually figure out what has happened in that garment's life. And this beautiful vintage nightgown here behind me is no exception, and I thought it would be really fun to take you behind and talk you through what I found inside this garment. Might make you look at your vintage garments a little bit differently too. Welcome back, my lovely ladies and gents. For those of you that actually follow me on Instagram might have already seen this piece, but if this is your first time here, welcome, thank you for watching. And my name is Evelyn Wood and I'm a dressmaker, sewing teacher, and I specialize in vintage garments, and I do a lot of vintage restoration and collecting myself, of course. One of the things that I find are the tales inside vintage garments. You sort of, once you start looking inside, you just start to see the different alterations, the holes, the different style changes that have happened all together inside these garments sometimes, and I find it absolutely fascinating. And on my Instagram recently, I took you through this beautiful nightgown that I found at the thrift store recently, because it has a tale to tell, and you guys, well, everyone over there, all absolutely found it just as fascinating as I did. So I thought, why not take you through that here, and I'll show you through what I found. Let's get a little bit closer first. So first up, let's just appreciate how beautiful this is. It is silk satin. It has beautiful, beautiful smocking underneath the bust to create shape. This hand embroidery is superb with lace around the edges, and this quite unusual lace up on the sides. So it wasn't until I got home that I realized that there are some odd things about this piece. So for instance, the first thing that I noticed was this lace on this edge here does not match the lace on the armhole edge. Curious, right? Why would you do that? The next thing that really caught my attention was that the embroidery is just superb. It has been executed by someone very highly skilled. It is beautiful, and the smocking as well. Then I sort of looked at this opening a little bit closer, and these handmade, buttonholes essentially for the ribbons are just not executed with the same skill that that embroidery was. I mean, for instance, look at the size of this one and compared to the size of this one. It's not uniform, the stitching isn't as neat. I just don't think that the same person has completed these buttonholes is different from the person that did this embroidery. And so investigating further on this side opening, I have noticed there's actually a seam across this edge. So the extension that's been put here has been seamed on. Maybe there originally, may not, but it definitely leads that it could have been added afterwards. But the fact that this looks like this on the edges, it's just very poorly done. It's just sort of been cut and hacked, and just makes me think that it might not have been like this to begin with. And also looking down at the hem, this one very obviously has just been machine stitched, taken up shorter, and just very sort of, maybe, let's use the word ugly, machine stitched on top. You can see the original hand stitching just underneath here, where it's just been folded up and then just machine stitched on top to take a bit of the length away. Perhaps this actually had sleeves at one time, and maybe without this opening, and someone has cut off the sleeves, hence why there is a different type of lace around the edge, and maybe they needed, they needed a larger size, so they've actually created this on the side to get, allow more room in the garment. I don't know, and I don't think with this one that I will ever know, really. Looking at different parts of these seams, particularly the centre back, shows me by little teeny tiny little needle holes that it was originally stitched and undone and then restitched again. And the little holes tell the tale of that one. Whether that was originally there or some alteration after, I don't know. I tend to think maybe that one was already there, but the way that this one has been constructed and changed, I just find it so fascinating to look inside, and you start noticing all of these little things. As to the age of this garment, I don't know. I will need further investigating before I would say any words on that. As I said, I just find this fascinating, and I promise you, if you look inside some of the older garments that you have, you'll probably start to notice little things like this. The things I have found have been incredible. As I said, this is something I've called garment archaeology, and I hope that you've enjoyed the little look through this and sort of thinking about things a bit differently and the life that our garments have had before, and to think maybe someone will be doing this about your garments that you've refashioned and changed in 10, 20, 30, 50 years time. That's kind of a nice thought, I think. So I would absolutely love to know what you thought about this little segment of garment archaeology, and should I do another one? Do leave your comments below, let me know, and you might just see another one in the future because I have many garments waiting for a little bit of digging in garment archaeology. Hit that like button if you liked this video, and until next time, bye!